I am happy to join with you today.
Once you change your philosophy, you change your thought pattern.
I love America. I love everybody.
Do what this white here can do more.
Yo, what's good, man? And welcome to the latest edition of the One Way Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenza.
You want it to be one way.
And you do want it to be one way, don't you? I'm glad you want it to be one way, man. Welcome back. Like I said, I'm your host. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on iTunes, if you're listening on Google Play, you're listening on Spreaker, Podomatic, Stitcher, iPadio, whatever you're listening from, however you're listening, thank you for your support. Well, quite frankly, I like movies, and usually I get into this debate or conversation with people about the kind of movies that they like. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to shit on a movie that someone may or may not like, unless it's a Tyler Perry film, which I will constantly do that over and over again. No disrespect to Tyler Perry as a person, but I usually don't try to force movies. Well, yes, I do force movies on people, but I usually try not to do it too much. I have some pretty far-fetched ideas about movies, and I try to argue those every time that I get an opportunity. And the conversation I was just recently having, two things came to my mind about two totally different topics, actors, actresses, totally different sides of the or pieces of the equation. So here we go. I'm going to start off by saying or asking you seriously, you as a listener, do you like Gabrielle Union, or do you think she's a good actress? Because I would argue that she isn't the best actress, but she's a very likable person. And sometimes you get that in movies where you have very likable people portraying roles that you can relate to, and then you just forgive them for not being very good at the craft, which is acting. I remember her when she was in 10 Things I Hate About You. I remember her when she was in Bring It On. And I'm telling you, both of those times, even though she was a young actress and you can say that that was the reason why she wasn't that good, I'll just go on to say that Love and Basketball, her role really wasn't that good. It wasn't that well played. I would venture that there'll be other actresses a little better than her. And I'm not trying to, like I said, take anything away from Gabrielle Union, because I personally like Gabrielle Union as well. As a matter of fact, there's a YouTube series called Hot Ones, in which a guy does interviews with people. It takes about 20, 25 minutes or so. And as they have this interview, he asks them questions, and they gradually go up the scale as far as hotness or spice is concerned with hot wings. And her interview was golden. I mean, I've seen some great interviews on there. Vince Staples comes to mind. Kevin Hart comes to mind. But Gabrielle Union, she really stood out to me. And even though I feel the way that I feel about her as an actress, I will say, like I just said, she's an amazing person. So you, as a person, as a listener, as a person who may or may not watch movies, as a person who may or may not watch the show Being Mary Jane, do you think she's good, or do you like her? I do believe that there's a difference in that. Another thing that came to my mind while I was having this conversation about TV, films, and all that good stuff. I was having a conversation about romance movies or romantic movies or love stories. And one thing always comes up, bar none, especially in this day and age, in the past 5, 6, 10 years. I don't know how long the movie's been out, but The Notebook always comes up in these conversations about romance. And The Notebook is a great movie. If you're into that sort of thing, it's a great movie. I like movies. I can respect it as a movie. It has some of the most strange or epic date scenes or one-on-one scenes ever. A guy hanging off a Ferris wheel to ask for a date, people laying down in the middle of the street as traffic goes by. Yeah, plenty of stuff like that, man. But shout out to Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams for making such an amazing film and having such great chemistry on screen. But with all that said, I would argue, and this is just for me and my perspective, you don't have to believe the same thing, but I would argue that Rocky, especially Rocky 1, is as good, maybe even better love story as the love story from The Notebook. Ignore the boxing. The boxing is a subplot. The man broke fingers and toes and stuff as this henchman, all while his best friend, being a degenerate gambler, has a sister that the man just happens to be interested in. And the entire movie is centered around this guy trying to get with this lady who just happens to be Adrian, eventually getting Adrian, marrying Adrian, wanting Adrian to have a better life and really honing in on his boxing skills, and everything that Rocky got as a boxer, he got as a relation in relation to his love for Adrian. Even in Creed, the new remake, the restaurant is named Adrian's. That's the last thing that the man has on this earth as an old man, is this restaurant named after his wife, because he and his son obviously had a difference of opinion during the entire series. I don't want to go through the Rocky life story, but catch my drift. Rocky is a great love story. Rocky 4, where Apollo dies, is a great love story as far as husband and wife is concerned, but a great love story as far as friendships are concerned, because there are sometimes you shouldn't let your friends go do something, but they feel so passionate about it, you rock with them even though you shouldn't rock with them. Rocky shouldn't have rocked with Apollo when he was going in there to fight the Russian at all. Shouldn't, but he went in there, did it anyway. One of the worst things you can do as a friend. But Apollo dies in the ring to the Russian. Lo and behold, Michael B. Jordan becomes Apollo's son, Adonis. There we go, in a nutshell. But man, yeah, there's two things I just wanted to get off my chest. The question, do you like Gabrielle Union or do you think she's a good actress? Both could be true as well. Either or, both could be true as well. And look, for real, Rocky is as good of a love story as The Notebook. Well, that's all I have for you today, man. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Those of you that are new to us, man, we'll be here as much as we can. This is paid up podcast every day of April, so I don't know if you're going to get this as a double, or you may, in fact, get this tomorrow. Who knows, man? It's a lot going on. Until next time, peace.